Welcome friends, and in this video we're going to do something really cool things. So I welcome you to the part 4 of the Android command line tutorial, and I am very much excited today. It's almost 8 a.m. in the morning. I wake up excited because we're going to create an Android Studio project. Oops, not an Android Studio project, an Android project without using Android Studio or Eclipse. So let's go ahead and see that how we can create this. So we're going to need some things to need some setup on our system. If you haven't watched the previous video, you should watch it because you should watch this, otherwise your system won't work. I just do something and it will not work on your system. So it's recommended to watch the previous video if you haven't. And we're going to create an Android Studio project. Again, I'm saying Android Studio project. It's an Android project without using any kind of integrated development environment, that is IDE. So how am I going to create it? Obviously using the command line tools, that is command prompt or terminal if you're using an Linux. So how we are going to create this one, I'm going to pretty much show you now. Now you might be wondering that why my Android Studio is opened here. The reason is we're going to create an Android project using the Android Studio first, and we're going to show how to create the same project using the command line tools. So if you're familiar with Android Studio, and if you have created one project or many project, or if you're a power user of Android Studio, doesn't matter. Everyone must have created a project, because without creating a project it's not possible to work on Android Studio. So the first thing that you have to do here is create a project. So here you can see that it says that start a new Android Studio project. So basically let me click on here and see what I get. Okay, so that is a start a new Android Studio project, and it's going to pretty much give you a prompt to set up your application name. So what will be your application name? Let's go ahead and see that. Let me name it command line. Okay, so it is asking for a company domain here. So what is basically company domain? You can tell the company domain as the unique identifier of your app, because if you're going to upload your app on the Play Store or some other application store like Amazon, what is going to happen? They're going to check with the APK that if your company domain is unique or not. So because the domains are the unique to everyone, so they are using the company domain to check whether this app is from that company or from other company. Okay, so this is basically an unique identifier. Now if you use your company domain I'm using here mituroi.com, you can visit there if you want. Then in the package name you can see that it says com.mituroi.com online. So what it is doing, it is using the reverse domain technology in this case, because Java always does it. If you have worked with Java previously and created project on some IDE like IntelliJ or maybe Eclipse doesn't do it really. If you do it, you may see that it's a industry pattern that you have to use the reverse domain in your Java packages. So this is nothing but packages. What are the packages? I'm going to talk about this one because if you're familiar with Java, then it's awesome that you know about packages. What are these? And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you about this. So basically it is nothing but a folder. It is a com folder. Inside this Mituroi folder, and inside this there is a command line folder. So it is nothing but folder inside folder inside folder. So if you get into a folder called Mituroi, you have to go to the com then Mituroi. So instead you can write this as com.mituroi. That's it. And this is the project location. That is basically a default project location. If you have installed Android Studio, you may know that it is already there as your username of the system and the Android Studio projects. They create a folder called Android Studio projects where all your Android Studio projects resides. So I'm going to pretty much choose the default project location and hit next. Okay, so the second thing that you see here is the phone and tablet option, Wear TV, Android Auto, Glass. Okay, so we're going to pretty much create an app for the phone and tablet. If you're interested in Wear, I am pretty much interested to learn how to create an app for the Wear, and if I can learn this, I'm going to pretty much share with you everyone. So that is a topic for another day, and we are going to create a project for the phone and tablet basically here. So what is happening here? So this is selected as phone and tablet, you can see, and if you don't know which option to choose from here, it is saying that API 17, API 18. Oh my god, what are this? So let me go ahead and click on the help me choose. I don't know what is this. Okay, so you clicked on this and you see bunch of options. Okay, what are this? They are saying that Android platform version, API level, and the distribution. Okay, so what are this basically? And you can see that it's 2.3, 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, and so on and so forth. If you have installed Android Studio, you can see this one, otherwise there is no reason you will see this. Okay, so you can see that it's the first thing that is saying here is gingerbread, because it is almost covering all the Android phone on the market. So it is the market share for this is almost 100%. It is not saying anything here, but it is kind of 100%. Nobody uses a phone like before gingerbread. Okay, and there you can see that 4.0 ice cream sandwich, and it is almost containing the 98.3% of the market share. So if you create an app for the ice cream sandwich that is 4.0, then you are going to target 98.3% market on the Android. So how cool it is. So why we are not going to create for an app for 2.3? You may say that okay, everyone is having the version level of 2.3, then why shouldn't we target the gingerbread? The problem is with the maintenance. So if you target any lower API version of any app, so you have to maintain that, because gingerbread is not capable of doing something which a lollipop is. So you should target something that is kind of a newer. Let's assume that you want to target KitKat here or Jelly Bean, because it is also a good market share. It is 9.7%, and 4.2 Jelly Bean is awesome. Okay, because I use it. I use a very old phone called P2. Okay, leave it. That is 4.2 Jelly Bean. Let's go ahead and hit OK. So you can see that API 17 Android 4.2 Jelly Bean is selected here. So let me go ahead and show you something here. Okay, open up my browser. Okay, so here we are going to show that what is actually happens when you select this kind of thing. So minimum SDK, that is the option was there. So minimum SDK is nothing but, okay, where is it? So minimum SDK is the minimum target level of the API which you want to target. So basically say that you want to target the apps from Jelly Bean. Now let me assume that you are using gingerbread here. So in this case, if you create an app for 4.2 Jelly Bean API 7, your app is not going to run on your gingerbread. Even if you sideload the APK, if you have ever did it, so many functionality may break. Okay, so you should really work on this, that what is the minimum SDK you should target. So this is not the case. This is totally the out of scope of this tutorial series, but we are going to talk about it later. And as we have selected the 4.2 Jelly Bean, why we selected it? Because I have the 4.2 Jelly Bean. It will be lame if I can't run my own app on my phone. So let's go ahead and hit next. Okay, so it is doing something, and let's go ahead and hit next. Okay, so here you get some options, bunch of options actually. Add no activity, basic activity, empty activity, full screen activity, login activity, and so on and so forth. But the thing is that these are nothing but a template here, guys. So what Android Studio does, if you create choose any activity from here, this is nothing but a template. They are going to create some folders, and they are going to create some files inside these folders when you choose these templates. So depending upon these templates, they are going to create your Android Studio project. So if you want some basic activity, let's assume that you have selected basic activity here. What Android Studio is going to do here is they are going to create a template for the basic activity. Means let's assume that you are from the web development and you want to create a web page, right? So you have opened up your any IDE and say that you want to create a basic template. So there is an option, say basic template, and you hit next, and it created some folders and bunch of files inside this folders. So this maybe some files are saying style.css, some saying the script.js, or maybe some files are saying index.html, and inside this index.html maybe some code is already written to show a basic web page. So it's almost like this kind of thing. A basic activity is nothing but a basic thing that you must see on your phone when you open up your application. So this is basic activity. So we're going to see everything in details, not in everything, but some of this like empty activity. Okay, so if you hit the next here, it is going to ask for the activity name. That is really important, guys. You can create multiple activities, you can create thousands of activities if you want. Activities are nothing but the pages kind of thing. If you see that if you're into from web development, you can see that you created a page for about us and you created a page for contact us. These are nothing but activities in Android. So you can create multiple activities, but first time if you're creating an Android Studio project with a template, you have to define an activity name. So by default they set the activity name as main activity. So what is main activity? They're nothing but the first page that you see when you open up your Android app. So, and in this case you can see the generate layout file is also there. Okay, layout file is nothing but the layout of your app. So without the layout you can't really see anything on the screen, because you have to design your app according to your way. So the layout file is nothing but the XML file. So whatever we do, whatever we create in terms of layout, if we create using the XML in Android and in Android world, you can say. So this is the activity name, and it is going to create a layout file as well. So this backout compatibility, this is now not really a topic for today. We're going to skip this one. And now if you hit the finish button, as you can see here, it is going to create a brand new project, and you can directly run it on your system, virtual device, or your own device as well. They're going to create a hello world kind of template, and you just hit the run button on your Android Studio and it will run on your system. We're not going to show this because we're going to create the same thing using our Android command line tool. So let's go ahead and see a demo project of Android Studio, where basically Android saves our project is inside these users. My name is there, and there we can find the Android Studio project. So let me go ahead and show you an example. Okay, this is an example of an Android Studio project. So I have created a database project that is called database, and inside this there are a bunch of folders are there that is created by Android. I didn't have to do anything to create this one, like gradle.bat, local property settings, anything. I didn't do anything. I created some activities and also layouts according to this app, but I didn't created all these folders and all the folder structures. We're going to talk about the folder structures in the later videos as well, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and create an Android Studio project. Okay, Android project. So first thing that you have to do here is let's go ahead and cancel it and open up your command prompt. So you just have to right click here and just choose the command prompt, and you can choose the command prompt admin as well. Okay, I'm going to choose the command prompt admin. Okay, you can do anything. I have already showed that how to open the command prompt, or you can search for the CMD here and just click on this, or right click and when you run as administrator. It is not recommended to, it is not really required to open it up as an administrator, but I opened it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to check something. Okay, so you may ask that what we're going to check. Okay, if you have I'm telling you again, guys, if you haven't watched the previous video, you should watch it. Okay, if you didn't, you should watch it now. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Let's type in Android and hit enter. Let's see what I get, and wait for some moment and keep waiting for some moment. Okay, so we're getting the Android Sdk Manager. If you type in Android, you by default get this Android Sdk Manager here. Okay, so what is this? From this section you can download the platform tools, guys. Okay, so if you are using the SDK from that I showed you on the command line tools, you should need to download the platform tools from here, and if you have already installed the Android Studio, that platform tool should be there, because Android Studio let you help to install that Android SDK platform tools. Okay, so from this section you can use and install some pretty cool fun stuff. Okay, we're not going inside this one, we're going to do something else with this. So let's go ahead and type in Android. Okay, I'm typing wrong. Android create project and hit enter and see what I get. Okay, so that is saying that error because we have to define some parameter on this section. Okay, so this is, you can see that so many options are there. So there is an option called creates a new Android project. In this section you can see that options. So if you type in /n, it's not /n, it's -n, you're going to see that project name is there. So you have to define the project name in this case, and you have to define the activity name and the package name as that I showed you. Okay, so how we are going to do it? Okay, let's clear the screen first. Okay, so we're going to do this Android create project. Okay, so and after that we're going to need an activity name that I have already showed that how to create this one. Okay, on the Android Studio, so you just have to define -a, that is activity name, and I'm going to name my activity called main activity. Okay, now then you have to define your package name that I have already set as the reverse domain. So let's go ahead and set it up. But how do you set it? With the -k. So that is the package name. So I'm going to set my package name as com.miturai.com.line, that is command line. Okay, you can name it anything you want. Okay, now after that I'm going to need something else. So I'm going to need the /t, that is the target, that which version of the Android I want to target. Now okay, so let's go ahead and see that Android 4.2 here. Okay, now we need to define a path here. Okay, that where I want to install this one. Okay, so because you can see that in the Windows System 32 we're not going to create a project inside this System 32 here, so we have to define the path that where do I want to create this project. So it's for better practice, I'm going to create a new folder in my desktop, so and name it say Android. You can name it anything you want, and let's close out of my command prompt here, and I'm going inside this folder here, and I'm going to open up command prompt as an admin again. Okay, and I'm going to go to my Android directory here, cd users, I think cd desktop. Okay, cd my username. Okay, what I'm doing here is and then cd desktop and then cd Android. So cd is nothing but a change directory. So I'm inside this Android folder, as you can see here. This is the same directory structure as you can see there. Okay, so we're going to create this project inside this one. So let's go ahead and clear the screen first. Okay, and write some code here. First that you have to specify that you want to create a project in Android. So let's go ahead and type in Android create project /a, and that is nothing but an activity name. I'm gonna name it main activity, and let's go ahead and create the package name say com.miturai.com.line. Okay, com.line. Okay, and after that you have to specify a target here. Say target is 4.2 here, Jelly Bean. Okay, and after that I have to specify the path here. So I'm already inside a path in this case, but I don't want to create the project inside this structure here. So we are going to create a folder here. So this is going to take the path. If I just do it like app/app1, it is going to create a folder inside this Android folder called app, and inside this app folder it's going to create an app1. So I'm going to create just app, and I am going to use the template. So as you have already seen that Android Studio give me a prompt to create a template from like basic activity or the new activity or with or no activity. So we're going to do something like that. So for that purpose, Gradle is on the way. So Gradle is really helping you to create a template here. So if you talk about the Gradle is nothing but it's basically built on top of Groovy. So we're not going to talk about Gradle and Groovy because that is the topic for another day, and we're going to cover all this thing, guys, so don't worry. And let's go ahead and use the template of Gradle. So to use the template of Gradle, we just have to use the G for the Gradle, as you can see here, and we're going to need something else. Okay, what is that? That is the version of Gradle. So version will be /v, and we have to specify the version as 1.1.0. so there are so many versions of Gradle. If you search, if you go to the web and search for the Gradle version, so I think the latest version is almost 3 point something. Okay, we're going to use the 1.1.0 to create the template. Okay, let's go ahead and hit enter and see what I get. Okay, we're going to get an error called target ID is not valid. Okay, so you can see that I have already told you that this is the target. I'm targeting 4.2 Jelly Bean, and that they are saying that this target ID is not valid. So let's go ahead and see that what are the targets that are available on our system. So if you have installed Android Studio before, or you just installed it right now, you may not have the huge list of targets that I have. Let's go ahead and see Android. You just type in Android list and hit enter. So that is going to show you the available target list. So let's go ahead and see. That is saying that available Android targets. For me, it is their huge target list for me, as you can see here. So for Galaxy Nexus, Galaxy 7 and Galaxy Nexus 4 and so on and so forth. If you have installed this kind of things on your system, you may see this kind of IDs. You may have one or two, or maybe already or maybe hundreds of IDs. Okay, we are going to target the Google Nexus here. Okay, Google Nexus. I'm going to target the ID 5. So let's go ahead and change our definition of Android Studio creating a project. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in let's go ahead and clear the screen first. Okay, and I'm going to change the target to this ID. So let's go ahead and I want to create an app for the Google Nexus and hit enter and see what I get. Okay, so I'm still getting a target not valid. Let's go ahead and try target 1. Okay, so it created some project for myself, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and see what's inside. Okay, so you're getting an app folder called app here. We're not going to talk about the directory structure here, that what everything is doing inside this one. We are going to talk about specifically about that what we have created today. So our so first thing that I want you to congratulate that you have created an Android Studio Android project just using the command line tool, and it is pretty fun, guys. Okay, so you just have to type in some commands here, that is Android, to specify that you are creating an Android project, and you just have to write in create project, and /a is nothing but the main activity, because you can create this activity any name, but by default it is main activity in Android Studio. So I'm just naming it as main activity. You can name it anything you want, trust me. Okay, so it is going to be /a. This is just activity name. /k is defines the package name here. So as you can see that this is my package name, and this is the target. I want to target the ID 1 because I have already showed you my list that how many targets are available on my system. It's not same for everyone, guys, and in this case that you can see the /p, which is nothing but a path that you can see that I have this app folder inside this one. So this is the path, and I am using the Gradle template and the version of 1.1.0. so let's go ahead and see the app is already created. If you go inside this app, you can see that 2 folders are there, Gradle and src. If you can see these folders and these files, your project creation is successful. And so in this case, if you go inside this Gradle, you can see that it has a wrapper here. I'm not going to talk about all this, but you can assume that this project has been created using the Gradle. So Gradle is nothing but a build tool which helps you to automate tasks. So let's go ahead and think about this. You have to create all this file manually. That is going to be a real pain, guys. So Gradle is going to come to the rescue and create these files for you. So it is nothing but build tools which let's assume that you do one thing repeatedly every day or every time. Like you may create thousands of Android Studio projects. So if you start creating all these files, this is going to be a real time wasting. So what we are going to do here is we're going to use the Gradle, and you can see that I have already used Gradle and created this one. And in the src, if you go inside this source, this is your main source. If you go inside this main here, you can see that called Java folder is already inside this one. Okay, if you go inside this Java folder, you can start to see my project structure. So you can see that com, that I have already said that com, that is Miturai, that is com line, and inside this my activity was already there with .java. So Gradle is pretty much helped you to create this file without doing anything. You just type in some commands and it is already detected that you have install the command line tools on your system, and it is going to pretty much created that template for yourself. So that's it for today, guys, and we are going to create and talk about the directory structure, that what everything is doing and how everything is happening. And after that, we're going to dive into creating an app just using the command line tools. So if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and see you on the next video.